Finally, Indiana football gets an offensive lineman commit in the transfer portal, and this guy is good.
You are Locked On Hoosiers, your daily podcast on the Indiana Hoosiers. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Welcome in. It is the Locked On Hoosiers podcast. I'm your man, Jacob Goins. I appreciate you being here, making this your first listen or your first watch every single day. We are part of the Locked On Podcast Network, which is your team every day and the nation's #1 sports podcasting network. A bonus episode of Locked On Hoosiers as we have more transfer portal news. A kicker has joined the team for 2026, but that's not why you're here. You're here to hear about the offensive lineman that has committed to play for the Indiana Hoosiers. A guy that visited this past weekend. We've been waiting on the name to drop, and now it is official. Joe Brunner, the transfer offensive lineman from Wisconsin. That's right, a P4 guy, a Big Ten guy, has committed to play for the Indiana Hoosiers. 6'5", 317 pounds. A guy that is massive, okay? All he's got to do is get in the way, and he's going to do a good job, but someone who will immediately start for the Indiana Hoosiers on the offensive line in 2026. Again, 6'5", 317 pounds. He has 39 games under his belt, with 24 of those being starts. He started every game this past year in Madison, Wisconsin, and was named All Big Ten honorable mention as a offensive lineman for 2025. And this is the one that we have been waiting for. This is the one that you have been waiting for, Indiana fans. I know you have. Believe me, I hear you. I see you. And you finally got your wish. It's one, right? And there's still more to go. There's no doubt. But Indiana seems to have the interior of the offensive line in a pretty good spot. Somebody who has played a lot of football, somebody who has played a lot of P4 football, and so the adjustment should not be all that crazy, right? We saw Pat Coogan step right in and be phenomenal at the center position, a guy that knows several of the players on this Indiana team, including Drew Evans, Riley Nowakowski, guys that he played with at Wisconsin. And he's got 1 year of eligibility remaining with the Indiana Hoosiers. And I think he steps in and starts at guard immediately. He's been a left guard. He's played at that spot right next to the center. That's where he played all of last year for Wisconsin. And I believe that's where he will be for the Indiana Hoosiers. And I think that's fine, because you bring in Joe Brunner, this guy from Wisconsin, but you bring back Drew Evans and Bray Lynch, who have significant snaps at the guard spot. One of them can take the right guard position. My guess would be Drew Evans, and maybe Bray Lynch plays center, or you can honestly switch some of those guys around, or switch those two guys around and have them play center, maybe try it out, and both have had experience at that spot, okay? So you have that. You have Carter Smith, who can be a tackle, and now you need another tackle. And then you got to build some depth there. You got to get some guys to step in garbage time, or when there is an injury, if that happens, right? All those things can certainly go down. But this is what we've been waiting on. This is what we've been waiting for. Indiana needed this, and you got it. And Joe Brunner is a huge pickup for the Indiana Hoosiers. And again, I think now you feel good about at least 4 of the names on your offensive line, and you definitely want to go get 1 or 2, if not 3 more up front for the Hoosiers. But this is important. This shows that Indiana is committed to get big-time names up front, because that has, and we've talked about this, right? This has been the biggest difference between last year's Indiana team and this year's Indiana team is the guys up front, and especially on the offensive line. And O-line this year in 2025, for the 25-26 season, I guess, that got better all year. They really, really did. There were some communication issues and some misfirings, if you will. Just not everybody playing on the same page, and some missed assignments and things like that. But this unit on the offensive front is one of the main reasons Indiana's playing in a national championship game on Monday, and they don't get enough credit. And man, we're so blessed to have what we have up front, and Indiana's trying to continue that into next season. And they're doing that with Joe Brunner from Wisconsin. And that's what I love too. Nothing wrong with going to get G5 guys or JUCO guys or elevating some high school kids who you're going to have to get some. And you've got plenty of them coming in. Looking at it, let's see, you have three redshirt freshmen, and then 4 true freshmen coming in. So you're going to have some dudes coming in to I guess build for the future, if you will. But you've got to go get P4 guys. You have to go get dudes who had good careers or good seasons or a good season and looking for something new, whether it's a better place to play, a better team, a better coach, more money, whatever the case may be. You've got to go get those guys, and Indiana did with Joe Brunner. Again, the guard offensive lineman for the Indiana Hoosiers has committed from Wisconsin. He is 6'5", 317 pounds, and this dude is a unit. 1 year of eligibility. I think he'll step in and be your starting left guard, and Indiana feels pretty good with where they stand with him. But you pick up more. You also got a kicker, plus what could be next. We talk about that here on this bonus episode of Locked On Hoosiers. This bonus episode of Locked On Hoosiers is brought to you by FanDuel. The wild card round is here, and FanDuel is officially in playoff mode. Every game day during the NFL playoffs, FanDuel is giving customers even more ways to get in on the action. And now with the next round of the playoffs here, now is the time to be involved. Because right now, every NFL playoff game day, FanDuel users can get a profit boost pack waiting for them inside the app. Each game day, you'll see a pack loaded with multiple profit boosts that you can apply to the bets that you like most. Open your profit boost pack first thing on game day and see what boosts you want to apply. The boosts let you lean into your game day instincts, whether you're backing momentum, defense, quarterback play, or just coaching. You can get more with FanDuel. You make your picks, then apply your profit boost to get even bigger payouts while the playoffs get rolling. So visit FanDuel.com right now, an official sportsbook partner of the NFL, and grab your profit boost pack every NFL playoff game day. All right, welcome back into this bonus episode of Locked On Hoosiers, talking all things transfer portal, talk about an offensive lineman, which I know you're all are celebrating, maybe even having a drink or a bowl of popcorn or something to talk about that. But there is another commit that we need to talk about that happened this morning for the Indiana Hoosiers, as a kicker has been added to the roster for the 2026 season, as Indiana picks up a commit from Paddy McAteer, okay? A guy who is not from the United States, originally from Ireland. That's right. He is from Ireland. I'm not even going to try and pronounce his hometown because I will probably get it wrong. But a guy who has played a couple of years of college football, coming in from Troy. That's a school down in Alabama. He is coming in with some serious experience. A guy that in 2025 had 34 touchbacks on 64 total kicks. Also had a couple of field goals, not really his strength. He made one from 53 and he missed one from 51. This is a pure kickoff specialist type of guy, okay? Someone who has a couple of years of eligibility, took a couple of visits, or has a couple of years of experience, couple of years of experience, has 1 season of eligibility remaining. I know that this is not going to be the splashiest and sexiest of commits in the transfer portal, but kickers are important. It's that position that we don't talk about until they screw it up. And so you got somebody in there. McAteer will be, again, a guy with 1 year of eligibility, has played a ton of different sports overseas, and guy has played all sorts of stuff. And so adding him to the roster is very, very cool for Indiana. And now you look at kind of where you stand right now. You feel good with quarterback, right? You feel pretty good with running back as of now. You're still, I think, trying to add one more to that room to kind of bolster it all together. Receiver, pretty solid between Shaz Preston and Nick Marsh, who you've brought in. You still have Omar Cooper. You still have Charlie Becker as of now, trying to see what their status is. Charlie Becker will be back. I'm not worried about him. More so with Omar Cooper. Tight end, you bring in Brock Schott, the redshirt freshman for this year from Miami. Offensive line, still looking for another one there. Defensive line, interior, could add another one. You have Joe Hagel, who we talked about the other day. Josh Burnham, the defensive end from Notre Dame, so you feel good there. Talking about guys on the edge as well. would like to see another linebacker maybe step in for the Indiana Hoosiers. Corner and safety, you're good to go. So you really are starting to see the whole thing come together for Indiana. And I think another offensive lineman will be at the focal point, at the forefront for the Hoosiers. But hopefully this gives you some confidence. Hopefully you start to feel good about where things stand for the Hoosiers in the transfer portal, continuing to get names there and preparing to play in a national championship. A reminder on the calendar very quickly, coming up on Friday, the 16th. That's the last day for the portal. That's the last day for people to enter the transfer portal. Okay. They can still commit somewhere. You just have to have your name and your paperwork and all that stuff filled out and approved and be in the big wide portal before it closes. I would assume that night on the 16th. So Indiana could still get some commits, unless you're playing like Indiana and Miami, which then they'll have an exodus of players as well. So keep that in mind. But Indiana finally gets an offensive lineman. I expect another one, but Joe Brunner is a pretty good one. So be sure you subscribe to the channel. You follow us on your audio podcasting platform so you never miss bonus episodes like this one, live shows as well, and full episodes each and every day. We are back tomorrow for a normal episode, Hoosier fans. So until then, stay safe, and I'll talk to you later.